Welcome to the Spoonie Streamer Blogcast, a weekly series about streaming on Twitch or Mixer with a chronic or invisible illness. So sit back and relax. You don't have to use your precious spoons to watch me or to read what I'm saying. So just listen to my voice, watch the fire and listen to it crackle. And hopefully this series will make you remember that you are not alone. Always stick to a schedule. Don't be late, don't cancel. Be consistent. These are phrases that I still dread hearing even now after 13 months. This is great advice if you can do it, but as a spoonie, everything is a little more complicated. So you need to know when to listen to others and when to listen to yourself. The only person who can tell you how to stream is you. There are fragments of advice that you will see and hear which apply to everyone and can be helpful if you choose what applies, but much of it you need to be able to block out. Your life is not the same as other people's, and your streaming journey is not going to be the same either. The standard streamer advice that you will hear is to set a regular, consistent and frequent schedule that you have to push yourself and grind to achieve. The Spoonie streamer advice from me is do not push yourself. Set yourself attainable goals, and this goes hand in hand with being totally transparent about your illness and what you can and can't do, as well as being honest about your reasons for streaming. An able-bodied person will have anywhere between 10 and 16 usable hours a day. That means that for many, having a job, running errands, socialising and streaming is usually sustainable, if sometimes shattering. As spoonies though, we have a limited amount of energy and streaming always takes more spoons than you might think. To play a game, be creative and engage with chat whilst trying to entertain is exhausting. It's rewarding and I wouldn't be without it and the people I've met along the way, but the adrenaline that burns whilst you're streaming is often exceptionally draining once you stop. It's deceptive too, as whilst you're playing you often don't feel the effects of the exhaustion and can push yourself too hard and too far. I personally have around 4 hours of usable time a day. This can be spent either writing a blog post such as this and having a shower and washing my hair, or, if I'm lucky, streaming. I cannot do multiple things. I just don't have the spoons. On a day when I'm streaming, I'll have to stay in bed and rest until my stream time, and afterwards it's straight into the PJs and onto the sofa or into bed. The day after, there is little to no usable time left. My eyes might be open, but physically I am utterly drained. Don't be afraid of this though. Your health and recovery time is the most important thing there is, but there is always a way. You are in charge of your schedule. How you decide to tackle the problem of scheduling directly links to your answer to the first question from the first post. Why are you streaming? If you're streaming to grow and try and make a career out of it, then honestly, scheduling is important. And if that is the case, then you're best to follow some of the more standard streaming advice that you'll hear. If your answer, though, is community and friendship, or even a combination of the two, then this is some advice for you. You don't have to have an exact schedule. Never use being a spoonie as an excuse to do as little as possible. But if you're honest about your illness, especially if it's invisible but debilitating, people will show you a lot more compassion than if you make promises that you then have to break. If you aren't able to stream at regular, specific times, maybe you've tried, or maybe you just know your body and know that it isn't going to be possible for you, then there are always options. Schedule your spoons. Buy a cheap Week to View Diary. At the start of the week, before you make your weekly streaming plan, write everything down in a diary that you need to do. Once you see all this set out and knowing that you have a limited amount of energy, try to work your streaming around your energy levels, not the other way around. If you have to go shopping, do the cleaning for example, try to organise it on day when you're not going to stream. Try to make sure that you rest in advance of the days that you want to stream. If you work, then do exactly the same thing. Write it all down and pay attention to your body. If you know that on a Tuesday work is usually slightly easier and that straight after you eat you have a few hours of energy to spare, schedule your stream for that time. The offline image. Instead of having a standard offline image, one thing that I found very helpful on Twitch is to consider my energy levels on, say, a Sunday. I then add text to an image to give people who come to my channel an idea of when I hope I'll be streaming during the week. I also upload it to Twitter and put it in the Discord. The image always says exact times may change based on health and links to my Twitter account for schedule updates. One of my most obvious panels is about my illness as well, which links to the statement on this offline screen about my health. Another possibility is to put up a general schedule. If you have the most energy for streaming between certain times or even after a certain time in the day, try to stick with that. For example, you might stream on a Tuesday and just say after 7 o'clock GMT. See Twitter for updates. This is another good middle ground which gives you some leeway around your health. The great thing about all of this is that you can do it from your phone in bed. I use an app called YouDoodle, which is free, and I'm not affiliated with them, so I'm not advertising it, but you can add the writing onto the image that you've saved on your phone, and then just upload it. You go to Twitch/dashboard/settings, upload that image, and you have an offline banner that tells people what your upcoming schedule is for the week. If you need to make any changes due to your health, then update on social media. For me, Twitter is the most amazing tool for this, and in future posts I will be looking at using social media and some of the problems and benefits of networking as a Spoonie streamer. My last piece of advice is to schedule your stream safely. One of the most useful things that I have found is that I have a countdown timer. I use a program called Snaz. Again, totally free. If you work out how many hours you probably have based on your spoons when you hit go live, you can actually protect yourself. Have a think and set that timer. Do you have 1 hour of energy? 2? Maybe 3? Add that as a text file on your gaming overlay and display the countdown on screen. That way your viewers are always totally aware on how your spoons are depleting as the time goes on. Personally, I put up a slightly smaller time than I think that I might have on the timer. This is better for my mental health and maybe it'll be better for yours, but again, everyone is different. It's better for my mental health as I feel a huge sense of achievement if I actually hit that personal little mini stream target. So if I give myself 2.5 hours of energy and I make 2.5 hours and maybe even give myself an extra 10 minutes, I feel like not only have I achieved, but I have absolutely smashed my target, and that is something to be really, really proud of as a Spoonie. Another great thing about the timer is that someone who comes into your channel might ask about it. What is that countdown for? This gives you yet another chance to talk and educate about your illness. When you get to the end of your allotted time, and if you're feeling tired, stop. Self-preservation is honestly the most important thing. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. The amount of time that you can stream for, or anything in fact, do not compare yourself to anyone else. I'll be talking about the benefits and challenges of social media in a later post, as I said, but it is so easy to look at others, especially on Twitter, see their regular schedule, see that they're streaming for 6, 7, 8 hours, 5 days a week, and find yourself overwhelmed by this and find yourself lacking in some way. It's also easy to, again, feel overwhelmed by the streaming advice that you see and hear. Again, we'll look at this into much more depth in another post, but for now, I will leave this, saying that not having a perfect regular schedule does not make you a lesser streamer in any way. As long as you're doing your best, not damaging your health by streaming, and having fun whilst doing it, a community will build around whatever schedule you can give them.